because it's all poison. And you're like, what? Only when you're hosting a
In Hollywood, every star shines until the light burns too bright. Olivia Wilde was once the effortless beauty of the red carpet, the quick-witted actress everyone adored on House MD and Tron, Legacy. But behind that dazzling smile hid a woman who refused to play by the industry's rules. When she stepped behind the camera, she didn't just want to make films. She wanted to change how women were seen in them. And in doing so, she became one of the most praised and most criticized figures of her generation. From her meteoric rise as an actress to the controversies that turned her life into tabloid gold, Olivia's journey blurs the line between fame and fire. So how did a young woman from a family of journalists become the director who shook Hollywood's old boys club? And what's the real cost of daring to rewrite the story when the world only wants to watch you fall? This is the rise, the chaos, and the reckoning of Olivia Wilde. Olivia Jane Cockburn was born on March 10, 1984, in New York City. Not into Hollywood, but into headlines. Her mother, Leslie Cockburn, was an award-winning journalist and documentary filmmaker. Her father, Andrew Cockburn, a political writer from a long line of Irish reporters. Their home was filled with typewriters, cameras, and conversations about war, truth, and justice. Growing up in Washington, D.C., Olivia learned early that storytelling could move nations. But while her parents chased facts, she was drawn to fiction. To the glow of the movie screen, to the idea of living 1,000 lives through art. At the elite Phillips Academy in Massachusetts, she stood out not for her grades, but for her charisma on stage. She directed her first school play at 16 and realized she didn't just want to act in stories. She wanted to shape them. To avoid being defined by her family's legacy, she adopted the stage name Olivia Wilde, inspired by the Irish writer Oscar Wilde, a rebel who challenged society's limits, just as she intended to. Though she came from privilege, her road wasn't paved in gold. Hollywood didn't care about pedigree. It demanded endurance, beauty, and luck. And Wilde would need all three. That fire of independence, born from a family of truth-seekers, would later define every decision she made, both on set and in life. When Olivia Wilde first stepped into Hollywood, she was the perfect mold for what the industry adored. Strikingly beautiful, confident, and effortlessly charming. But that was exactly the problem. Hollywood wanted her face, not her voice. Her early roles in Skin, 2003, and The O.C. introduced her to millions. She became the mysterious girl next door, magnetic, yet misunderstood. Still, beneath the glamorous image, Olivia was quietly taking notes, studying the gears behind the camera, fascinated by how stories were told, and who got to tell them. Then came House MD, the medical drama that turned her into a household name. As Dr. Remy 13 Hadley, she brought depth to a role that could have been one-dimensional. Viewers saw not just a beautiful actress, but a performer with emotional weight and wit. Her breakout led to more mainstream roles. Tron, Legacy, Cowboys and Aliens, In Time. But the scripts began to blur together. She was trapped in Hollywood's paradox. Adored, but not heard. So while others chased fame, Olivia studied directing, shadowed filmmakers, and dreamed of her own set. One where women could lead, fail, and still be celebrated. She wasn't chasing stardom anymore. She was preparing for control. Because for Olivia Wilde, acting was only the first chapter. The real story would begin when she stepped out from in front of the camera and took command behind it. By the late 2010s, Olivia Wilde had everything an actress could want: recognition, red carpets, and a reputation for intelligence beyond beauty. But she wanted something more dangerous: creative freedom. That moment came with Booksmart, 2019, her directorial debut, a coming-of-age comedy about two overachieving girls who finally decide to break the rules on their last day of high school. It was sharp, funny, and unapologetically female. Critics called it a breath of fresh air in a stale genre. Olivia called it her rebellion. The film premiered to standing ovations, earning her Independent Spirit Awards and a new identity. Not just an actress, but a visionary filmmaker. For the first time, the spotlight didn't just shine on her, it belonged to her. But success is a tricky companion in Hollywood. With praise came pressure. When Wilde announced her next project, Don't Worry Darling, 2022, expectations exploded. A psychological thriller starring Florence Pugh and Harry Styles, it was poised to be her magnum opus. A glamorous, eerie portrait of control, gender, and freedom. Production buzzed with excitement, and Olivia's transformation from actress to auteur seemed unstoppable. The media called her the new voice of modern feminism in film. But beneath the perfection of the film's 1950s aesthetic, tension brewed. Between the stars, behind the scenes, and eventually across the internet. What was supposed to be her triumph would soon spiral into one of the most dissected controversies in recent memory. Still, in that brief moment between applause and uproar, Olivia Wilde stood where few women had before, commanding a multi-million-dollar production, calling the shots, and proving she didn't need anyone's permission to make her mark. Every Hollywood rise comes with a reckoning. And for Olivia Wilde, it arrived just as she reached her peak. In 2022, as Don't Worry Darling prepared for release, the film became less of a movie and more of a media circus. Rumors spread like wildfire. Tension between Olivia and her lead actress Florence Pugh. Whispers of jealousy and endless speculation about Wilde's relationship with her star, Harry Styles. Then came the viral moments. The Spitgate controversy at the Venice Film Festival. Fans dissecting every glance, every smile, every seat change. Suddenly, the woman once praised as Hollywood's feminist hope was being ripped apart by the same machine that built her. The tabloids called it drama. The internet called it chaos. But for Olivia, it was personal. She was served custody papers from her ex-partner, actor Jason Sudeikis, live on stage at CinemaCon, in front of thousands while introducing her film. It wasn't just a legal ambush. It was a public humiliation. Overnight, her personal life became Hollywood's favorite blood sport. The media twisted every headline. Olivia versus Florence. Olivia versus Jason. Olivia versus the world. But beneath the noise, a quieter story unfolded, of a woman trying to balance motherhood, leadership, and survival under the world's most unforgiving microscope. Olivia later admitted the scrutiny nearly broke her. She was no longer being judged for her art, but for daring to live publicly, loudly, imperfectly, something men in her industry had done for decades without consequence. For the first time, she faced the full weight of Hollywood's double standard, where confidence in men is vision, but in women, it's arrogance. And yet, even as her name became a headline, her spirit refused to fold. Because for Olivia Wilde, every scandal was just another script, one she intended to rewrite on her own terms. When the chaos faded, Olivia Wilde did something few expected. She didn't defend, explain, or retaliate. She simply went quiet. While tabloids still circled her name like vultures, she turned inward. Instead of fighting the narrative, she chose to build a new one. Privately, patiently, she began producing smaller projects, mentoring young female filmmakers, and speaking only when it mattered. Her silence became her statement. She told Vogue, "I'm not interested in perfection anymore. I'm interested in honesty." Gone was the Hollywood darling chasing approval. In her place stood a woman who had tasted both glory and disgrace, and found her peace somewhere in between. At festivals and panels, she spoke about creative control, motherhood, and resilience in a system that still feared outspoken women. She championed inclusion in the film industry, not as a slogan, but as lived experience, a battle scar turned into purpose. Friends described her as lighter, freer, done pretending. Even those who had once criticized her began to see a different Olivia, one who didn't need the spotlight to prove her worth. She wasn't just rebuilding her career, she was redefining success, Not by box office numbers or headlines, but by integrity. And for the first time, Olivia Wilde was no longer acting, no longer performing. She was simply herself. Olivia Wilde's story isn't one of flawless triumph. It's one of fearless persistence. She didn't climb the Hollywood ladder the easy way. She broke it, rebuilt it, and kept climbing anyway. From actress to director, from scandal to silence, she's become a symbol of what it means to survive the storm without losing your soul. Her films may divide critics. Her choices may spark debate. But no one can deny her courage to create on her own terms. In a world that celebrates image over substance, Olivia chose substance, even when it cost her comfort, fame, and peace. And in doing so, she's opened doors for a new generation of women who refuse to apologize for ambition. Because at its core, her journey is not about fame or failure. It's about ownership, of art, of mistakes, of identity. The journey of Olivia Wilde is proof that breaking the rules isn't rebellion. It's evolution. And as Hollywood continues to change, one truth remains. She may be controversial, but she's undeniably real. If you believe every story has a truth behind the scandal, like, share, and subscribe for more untold journeys of Hollywood's most fearless stars.